Weekend, a steady stream of tanks moving toward the Gaza border. Israel continues to pound the Gaza Strip with airstrikes. Drone video now shows the massive piles of concrete and debris filling the streets there. The United Nations is warning of food and water shortages in Gaza. Israel has cut all supplies to the area since Monday. An Israeli minister says no water, power, or food will enter Gaza until all of the hostages kidnapped by Hamas are freed.
More than 2,700 people on both sides have been killed. Nearly 10,000 others have been hurt. And now at least 27 Americans are dead, with 14 still unaccounted for. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. The secretary describing horrific photos shared with him by the Israeli government, appearing to show atrocities by Hamas terrorists.
It's hard to find the right words. It's beyond what anyone would ever want to imagine, much less actually see and, God forbid, experience. A baby, an infant, riddled with bullets. Soldiers beheaded, young people burned alive in their cars or in their hideaway rooms.
Tomorrow, Secretary Blinken will meet with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Jordan, followed by a visit to Qatar to discuss efforts to try to free the hostages. NBC News correspondent Ellison Barber joins us now. She's in Ashkelon, that's in southern Israel, not too far from Gaza. Ellison, I know we saw a little video of you a minute ago as you looked up to the sky. You've also seen tanks rolling toward the border earlier today. It's evening now. Do we have any indication, Ellison, when this ground offensive might start?
I know we use the word imminent a lot, but in wartime it can feel like imminent is a long time, but it still does seem that that is the case in the last 24 hours especially. So right now, we've been hearing off in the distance, and it might start again, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on the microphones, but we'll let you know if we do start to hear it again. But we're hearing just this lull of thunder-like sound. It sounds like Gaza in the last little bit was under some sort of bombardment, just the thud after thud after thud that we could hear from here. Again, Gaza is back in that direction. We know that sometime today, based on what we have heard from our NBC News producer who is inside of Gaza, that leaflets were dropped by IDF for the people, the civilians living in Gaza. Our producer there was able to get a copy of one of those leaflets that a resident gave her, and she said this is what had been dropped. And on it, it was warning residents of Gaza that an attack airstrikes are imminent. So that, in addition to the escalation a bit that we've seen in the last 24 hours in terms of military movement, tanks moving. We saw more of them today with a number of troops in them in a posture to head into the direction of some sort of kinetic activity as they went into the woods, and also just sections that we had seen yesterday where we saw at least 100 tanks amassed near the border with Gaza. It does seem like this could happen at any minute, but when we're talking about imminent in this type of situation, it could be minutes, it could be hours, it could be days, and there's always the potential that everything could change and what we thought might happen could not happen. But all of the signs are pointing to some sort of ground assault in Gaza happening soon, from what we see on the ground to what we're hearing from Israeli military commanders. Kate, Zinclay.
Yeah, truly, we're in a waiting game, Ellison. We also heard from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier today. What exactly did he say about the war against Hamas as it stands?
You know, he has talked in very forceful terms about what he thinks is important to make sure that Hamas is not accepted anywhere after this, saying that there should be no situation where a country is willing to meet with them, that ultimately what Israel wants to do is strip them of any sort of diplomatic and military power. The Office of the Prime Minister also released incredibly graphic images today of children who had been killed, they say, by Hamas militants. At the same time, just for perspective of what's going on with civilians in Gaza, they are dealing with a situation right now where they are running out of power. The UN, they have said their hospitals there are at risk of becoming more morgues because they are running on generators right now. And the sole power station, the sole place for fuel in Gaza is running out of fuel right now. So a lot of factors, a lot of risks here for a lot of civilians.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.